Hey wonderful humans, how are you all doing today? I hope that you're all happy and healthy and that your mind, body and soul are in line with each other and that you're feeling some kind of peace today. This video is not an episode of Take a Talk, obviously. It's a new series I'd like to introduce called Living with Crohn's. This is mainly for me, as I wanted to document my journey with living with Crohn's disease, and I thought since I'm doing these videos, why not just sort of add it into the whole thing. Another reason I'm doing this is because when I first got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, I felt really alone. I had no idea how common it was. Very common, apparently. So I don't know, I just kind of hope that maybe these videos can help other people who are going through the same thing or have recently been diagnosed and have no idea what the hell's going on. So they can relate and know that they aren't alone and that there are so many things out there to help them, with their lives and move forward with their lives. So I thought, why not just make little monthly updates about my life with Crohn's, and even if you don't have Crohn's, it's always good to learn something, So let's start off with the most obvious question I get asked when I tell people I have Crohn's disease is, what is Crohn's? Well, my friends, that is a not so straightforward and not so pleasant answer, but I'll give it a go. Crohn's disease is a form of inflammatory bowel disease, also known as IBD for short. It basically means that I have an inflammation in my gut, and there are certain side effects and symptoms that come with having Crohn's disease, and you need to make sure you're on the right course of medication so that these symptoms aren't as common or go back to normal. I was going to get really scientific and tell you all the ins and outs of Crohn's, but I think with this video I'm just going to sort of talk briefly as possible because I like to talk a lot about my journey with Crohn's. So this all started way back in November 2018, which is when I first noticed that I was having some bowel issues. I just thought it was IBS. I didn't really take into account it could have been anything more. And at that time I was very not much concerned about my health or my well-being. I was very much work, socialise, work. You just finished uni and you're like, woo, I'm free. So that was kind of me. I didn't actually do anything about it until September, October of 2019, which is when I finally went to the GP and was like, hey, look, I think I have IBS. Could you help a girl out? What do I do? I explained to my GP my symptoms. She was like, hey, let's run some tests. We ran some tests. There were some irregularities in those tests, so she was like, I'm going to refer you over to the gastro department in the hospital. I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not? So the hospital decided they wanted me to have a colonoscopy. For those of you who don't know what a colonoscopy is, that is when they stick a camera up your arse, so that they can kind of see what's going on down there. Obviously I went for the sedated version because there is no way I was going to be fully awake with a camera going up my bum. Either way, it was still very, very unpleasant experience, but that was when, in October 2019, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So after that I had an MRI scan just to see what else was happening, and I went to a nutritionist to try and change my diet because I was experiencing tummy cramps every day and having going to the toilet up to 7 times a day. I know, 7 times a day, it was ridiculous. So in conjunction of the medication and sort of changing my diet, it sort of helped minimize the symptoms. And then it wasn't actually until during Corona, the lockdown, that they wanted me to start a new medication called azathioprine, which is for Crohn's disease and would help me in the long run, but it's a slow burner, so it could take anywhere between a month to 6 months to actually start working, which is obviously true because this is during Corona lockdown, I experienced my first flare-up, which kind of put things in perspective to what Crohn's disease actually is and what it is like to have Crohn's disease. I don't know why, but when I got diagnosed, I didn't think to do any research. I don't know, I think I was quite, I don't know, just didn't want to accept it, you know, the fact that you've just been diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease for the rest of your life. So I kind of, I don't know, I didn't really take it in. So yeah, my first flare-up. This happened probably just under a month ago now. And boy, I have never experienced anything like this before. Like, I didn't know that this is what Crohn's disease was. I thought it was just having cramps every day and having to go to the toilet a lot and making sure you're eating the right things, you know? But no. Crohn's disease is sort of like a wave, but a very unpredictable wave. So you could just be like chilling for months and months and months and months and you're fine. This is called when you're in remission. Then out of the blue, your Crohn's can flare up even more than it already is, but your medication's controlling it. But sometimes the medication can't control it and it just goes out of proportion and boom, you're having a flare up and you're in hospital for days and you're having steroids injected into your arm and loads of different sort of blood tests and other tests just to, like, you know, try and get it to stop doing what it was doing. So the symptoms of a flare-up are loss of appetite, which is definitely true because I love food and I couldn't eat any of it. It was impossible to eat. I had to force myself to try and eat. It did not work. Your stomach is like so tense, like you can't push out or suck in without it hurting. And you have a constant stomach ache, like it's just always there. But the pain like changes like throughout the day. Like you can start off the day at 2, 3, and then by the end of the night you're like in 8, in agony, just like curling over, like trying to breathe, like, you know, craziness. And feeling like really, really tired, like no energy, which is kind of a general symptom of Crohn's disease anyway, but when you're in a flare-up, it's just like 10 times worse. Like no energy at all. So I got to the point where the pain was so much that obviously we had to go to A&E. And at the time, I didn't know that this is what a flare-up was, or that this even happens with Crohn's. So the first night I was in hospital, they were like, yeah, it looks like we think you might be having a little bit of a flare-up. They gave me like some painkillers just to like minimise the pain, like paracetamol and a drip. Didn't know you could have paracetamol and a drip. And they kept me in overnight and, you know, just wanted me to do some stool samples, which is great. And then the next day I was looking like I was better, so they decided to discharge me. However, I ended up going back a couple of days later because I was in even more pain than I was when I arrived. And guys, that pain, oh my god, that was a 10, maybe even a 15. I've never experienced pain like that in my entire life. Like, all I know is I'm ready to give birth to a child because that pain was out of this world. Like, the nurse had to tell me to be quiet because I was screaming so much in the A&E. Like, I'm sorry, what do you want me to do? Not scream? I'm in pain. Like, that's just my natural reaction. Anyway, so I ended up in hospital for about 5 days, having, like I said, steroids injected into me and went to other tests. And obviously it was good that I was there because, you know, now I'm on the right medication, and I've spoken to a dietitian, and I had my laptop and my mum was sending me all these like videos on Crohn's disease, and I started to really learn actually like what this was. In the end, I finally got discharged and I was able to go home. I left the hospital with a massive bag of medication. Crazy, actually, the amount of pills I now have in my drawer. I could, you know, do a little dealing on the side to people. No, I'm joking, I would not do that. Including injections where I have to inject myself every 2 weeks, which is kind of fun. in a weird way. It's a weird that I like to inject myself, probably a little bit. But yeah, I never thought in a million years that I would get diagnosed with something like this. But it's taken its toll on me emotionally and physically. Like I didn't actually realise how much until today, if I'm going to be honest, making this video. I've had a lot of ups and downs. This week has definitely been a down. But, you know, I'm hoping it will get better. Because I have so much support, like my family and my friends. They've been amazing. I don't know what I would have done without them. They've all been so wonderful to me, and I'm so grateful for them. Honestly, like, so grateful. But it's tough. I think what I'm scared about most is when is my next flare-up going to be, you know? The fact that I'm always having to go into hospital for blood tests, for an iron infusion, iron dripped into my veins. Never felt so much like a pincushion my entire life while being in hospital. Literal pincushion. But I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm feeling a bit lost. I have Crohn's. But it doesn't mean that my life has to stop. It just means it's going to be different. I don't know, if you guys know any actors with Crohn's disease, please tell me, because that'd be great for my ego right now. Yeah. I think that's where I'm going to end it today. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. It's a bit of an emotional video. I didn't mean it to be. I'm quite emotional at the moment. So, but I hope you like this video anyway. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys soon.